Alright, before I send this lock out to John in California, who was the first guy to send his name and address in, I want to take advantage of the opportunity to use this clear lock one more time to show you something I've been trying to figure out the best way to demonstrate. And that would be shimming a lock. A lot of you guys have asked about it. I've shown it on a normal lock, but you really can't see what's happening inside, and that's the beauty of this thing. We can see exactly what's going on. So how does this thing work? Well, first, you guys have noticed on the shackle of your padlocks, you got one or perhaps two cutouts in the shackle. This one has two, obviously, and when you push the lock in and hear that snapping noise is the spring-loaded locking pawl being forced into that slot on both sides. So it's locked on both sides. Well, you can see the spring, they are spring-loaded, and all we got to do without the stinking key is figure out how to push those under spring tension, how to push them back out of the way and out of those locking grooves. Well, if you have some shims, and these are, I know someone will ask, I'll tell you right now, I bought these from, these are from Southord. I've also bought them from Sparrows. They're both about the same price. I think you get 20 shims, 3 different sizes, for around 25 bucks. You're going to use them. They do wear out, but here's how they work. What you want to do is size it first. So you take the shim and you fit it around the shackle of the lock. And the size that fits most closely, like this medium one, that's what you want to try. If you got one too small, clearly it won't work. And if you've got one that's too large, oddly that won't work either. So the way I like to put the shims in place, you can just shove them down like this, but oftentimes if you try to force it, you'll bend the tip of it. And that's probably why they give you 20 of them. What I like to do is just gently rock it back and forth while pushing down, and it slides usually right in there. Sometimes it helps if you put some lube on a real lock, not a training lock, and it'll go in just a little bit easier. So let me grab another one of these mediums. So it didn't open obviously, but if you take a look, you can see now that shim has pushed that locking pawl out of the way. Now all we got to do now is move that one out, and we should get an unlock. So again, I'll place him there. Very gently rock him back and forth until he also pushes that locking pawl, and you see the under spring tension just pops itself open. That's how fast this can work. Very cool little technique, very useful on almost any lock that has a spring-loaded locking pawl or pawls. You can use this technique as long as the gap here is large enough to get your shims in. It'll work beautifully. Anyway, fellas, thanks for your time. Stay safe, stay legal, and John, your lock is going to be in the mail. Thanks, guys.
Last night, somebody broke into a famous royal palace and stole all of the locks. Adding further insult, the intruder painted the cryptic message Bosnianbill on the walls. If you have the information about this attack, please subscribe to Bosnianbill's Lock Lab.